Okay, in this video we are going to demonstrate how to do a tail tie. Tail tie can be really useful and is a technique that you really need to know if you're going to do any type of surgical procedure on a cow, so that you can keep the tail from hitting into your surgical procedure or potentially obstetrical work, whatever you're going to do, or potentially just to keep from getting slapped in the face. The first thing that you want to do when you're going to do a tail tie is you want to identify where the bony processes or the bony vertebrae at the tail end and just the switch begins. This cow has a really short switch, so it's going to be maybe a little bit difficult, but I think we'll still be able to make it work. So you can feel the bony processes as you palpate down the tail. Her tail was actually broken at one point in time. She's got a little wry tail there. But you can feel the bony processes. I can still feel bony processes. And then right here, I can basically feel where the bony processes end, and everything distal to that is just hair, just the switch on the tail. So having that spot identified, I'm going to take my rope and I'm going to place it over that division of the vertebral bodies and the hair. Then I'm going to fold the hair back on itself. And so now that's actually trapping that rope in the, basically in that fold of the tail. And then I take the short end of the rope and I pass it underneath the vertebral bodies of the tail and up over top of the switch. And so what that is actually doing is that is actually now keeping that tail folded back on itself. And then I'm actually going to do, to increase the security, I'm actually going to do this twice. And so I go around once, and then I go around twice, and that just makes it a little bit more secure. And now what I'm going to do is, this is the long end of the rope. I'm actually going to push a little bit of the long end of the rope out, creating a little hole there, a little loop. And then in the end of the rope, I want to make this a quick release. So instead of pulling the end of the rope through, I'm actually going to pull another loop through that loop and hold on to the end. And then I'm going to pull this down tight. And that should, once you tighten everything down, tighten on that, and as I tighten that long end of the rope, that actually constricts down around that tail, and that makes it hold on tight. When we tie this to the animal, we always want to tie it to some part of the animal without going around a bar or a post or anything like that, and we want to tie it with a quick release. So, for example, I would bring it around, and I could tie it around her front leg, or I could tie it around her neck, but I'd tie it in a quick release fashion. So if I would need to get this out in an emergency situation, I could pull it out and it would come undone. And likewise, the tail itself is tied in a quick release, so I can release it in a quick manner. If she would get into trouble, I could release the tail and she wouldn't potentially pull her tail off. So